Hello, I am here in the Riyadh's rooftop garden once again, and it has occurred to me that it was about 6 months ago that I first flew to London. So it has been about a half year that I have been doing this journey. I've been in Morocco now for about 6 weeks, and I've got 2 more weeks left. And as I think I've mentioned previously, I have really dedicated this time in Morocco to healing. I mean, arguably that's the whole mission of the entire trip, right? But for sure, I wanted to slow down here in Morocco and just really focus on that. And so today I wanted to talk about why traveling is so great for healing, okay? Because it really is. I'm finding that it is really working on me in powerful ways, and I want to explain what's going on. All right, so it started when I was in Paris. I started to learn about core wounds and belief reprocessing, which is a technique for changing how you think, right? So we know that the brain has the ability to create new neurons. It has the ability to even form whole new branches of neurons, and these are basically pathways in how we think. And so for those of us who are overcoming a background that might have trauma, the pathways in our brain can be pretty negative, and this can result in some really painful, repetitive thoughts about not being good enough, or our needs not mattering, things like that. Very painful. And as someone who spent 48 years with these painful beliefs, I was just really excited to finally find a way to get rid of them. So, I watched this really powerful video from, she's just a YouTuber. Her name is Thais Gibson, and she created something called the Personal Development School. And so she has an online platform where you can pay a monthly subscription and you can do her classes. And she also does 7-day free trials. So, a lot of these videos had really spoken to me, really resonated with me. And in particular, one of them on core wound reprocessing, which I watched when I was in Paris, really started to trigger some really deep healing in me. And so I decided that when I was going to come here to Morocco, that I would take at least one of her courses. And so I signed up for the free trial, and I actually completed 2 of her courses, which were on the subject of core wounds and reprocessing them and healing them. And basically how the method works is that first you have to identify the core wound. So that can be a little hard and a little easy at the same time. Hard because usually what we want to do when one of these is triggered is run away, right? Because it is so painful. Easy because if you don't run away, the core wound is so loud in the head that it can, in my experience, pretty easy to identify. Something like, I'm not good enough, or why should I even bother? My needs aren't going to matter to this person, or something similar. Okay. And another good thing about what Thais Gibson has put together is that she has identified what all the common core wounds seem to be, so that it's a great place to get started, to go read through the list and go, oh, that's me, or that's not me. And it's a good place to get started. Anyway, once you've identified what's been triggered and what the core wound is, then the next step is to come up with memories from your past in which that core wound, whatever it's telling you, is not true. So for instance, I've personally struggled with feeling unloved. So I came up with multiple memories in my past where I remember being loved, right, in that experience and remembering it. Now, this, in my experience, step can also be a little hard because at first the mind is like, well, no, what my core wound is telling me is true, that I'm not going to be able to find any memories that like contradict it. And so like you have to get over that like initial resistance of thinking that, oh my God, I'm just setting myself up for failure. There's not going to be any memories. And in my experience, usually after getting past that panic, like maybe the first memories that come might not be very big memories. They might be really, really trivial things, and they might not have a lot of juice. They might not be very powerful. But the longer that you kind of sit with it and write them down and kind of work with them, the more stuff starts coming up. And after a while, a few powerful ones might pop up. And in my experience, you only need like 1 or 2, maybe 3 really powerful ones embedded in a list of maybe 10 longer ones. But those ones with lots of power, those memories, those are the ones that are, in my experience, really going to help. Anyway. And so the key is that after doing these steps, identifying the wound, coming up with the list of like 10 memories, and especially those really juicy ones, the thing is to like repeat that process for at least 21 days. So like to go over your notes, to write down the notes, to go over them repeatedly every day. So it can be honestly, I dedicated a lot of time to it because that's been my priority, and I found that was extremely effective. Now, why travel? Why is travel so important? Well, first of all, simply by moving into new contexts, you're already triggering new growth in your brain, right? So travel promotes neurogenesis and travel promotes neuroplasticity. You just become a bit more open, and so the two kind of go hand in hand. Number 2, what I find is really helpful is that travel is giving me the opportunities every day to create new memories, powerful new memories that are going to work against my painful core beliefs, and that are going to give me further foundations and then further juice for creating new patterns of thinking. And so I guess just to give you an example from this weekend, I feel like I've already really worked through and healed some of my worst core wounds. I now know that I'm loved. I now know that I'm more than enough. I now know that my needs are important. I now know that anyone who violates my boundaries is eliminating themselves from my consideration. I now know these things, but to give you an example from this weekend, one that I'm still really working on is being capable of receiving. I'm really a giver, and receiving has been difficult for me. But I'm working on, I can receive. It is safe to receive. I don't, when people give me gifts, it is coming from a good place from them. They're not expecting anything from me necessarily. It's not transactional. So I'm really working on that. And I had a really beautiful moment over the weekend. I was walking through the Medina, and there I popped my head into kind of like a riad. That was the courtyard had been turned into an artisanal space for craftsmen of various sorts to put up their booths and show their work. And there was one guy who was working on I won't call him a carpenter, more like a wood artisan, right? Making beautiful boxes out of gorgeous burl woods, and just very beautiful things. And he was like, do you want to see me make something? And I'm like, well, yeah, I totally want to see you make something. And so he and I have a video of this. I have a video of him making. It started out looking like the pawn of a chess set. Right, he's taking a dowel of wood and using his feet along with a knife in order to carve it into, the beautiful bevels and edges of look like a pawn of a chessman. And then he snapped it off, and he took another little tool to drill a hole through the top. and or actually looked like the base. And then he strung it on a thread and he gave it to me as a pendant. And I'm like, what, what money can I give you? How much does this cost? And he's like, no, it's free. It's a gift. And it's just a really beautiful moment because like Marrakesh is not known for things being free. Marrakesh is known for everything's a scam. Marrakesh is known for like you're gonna get overcharged. People are gonna like press services onto you and then demand payment. So like this is a really beautiful moment where like I asked him like, oh, I want this, how much do you want for it? And he was like, no, it's free, take it. And I wore it around my neck for the rest of the day. And yeah, every time I look at that pendant, that little wooden pendant, it really just just echoing in my head is that message: you can receive. It's okay, you can receive. People want to give you things and you can take them, and it is good. It is not bad. It is not unsafe. It's not going to be fine print. There's not always going to be fine print. There's not always going to be a catch. So yeah, travel. Travel encourages neurogenesis, it encourages neuroplasticity, it opens your mind, and it gives you the opportunity to create beautiful new memories that are going to provide further fuel for your core belief reprocessing. So for all of these reasons, highly recommend, highly recommend. And I'm really happy to say I still have 6 months left in this trip. So more healing for me.